So in this session, we will look at leave and access control all together. So let's start with the leave. And of course, like every other part of our system, there is always one or two configurations necessary. So configure period, configure your types, your leave types, and then choose which days are your holidays. And that's one of the first parts that you need to take care of. And then create entitlement lists for all the staff and then watch them either request for the leave, apply for the leave, or let the admin assign leave to them. And that is as simple as it gets. So let's start with the configuration. So the first thing is, what leave period are you interested in formulating as of this moment? So the first thing that we usually do is to set up when your leave schema is going to run. For instance, you may want to run from August to September or from January to December. It's usually a 1 year span. So let's deal with January. Let's make it January and save. So the moment you set January as the beginning, it will automatically set the next full day, which is 31st of January. That is January 1 to January 1. January 1, 2025 to January 1, 2026, which means it will stop at 31st of December and the period will be closed. Okay. Then the next thing that you need to set is the leave types that you want to have in your system: maternity leave, paternity leave, compassionate leave, leave travel leave, right? Stuff like that. Sick leave. So you want to add a new one. As usual, our system is usually right there. Create a type and let's add sick leave. And you can decide for any one of these leaves that you have, you can decide whether it is a situational entitlement, which means it's at the discretion of the admin to decide whether the leave should be considered or not. And can employees apply for this leave on their own? You decide. And then can admin assign the leave to the employees? You decide. And then should this leave consider holidays as working days? That is, any day that you select as a holiday, someone has a leave that starts from, let's say, Friday. Should Saturday and Sunday be counted in, or should they be exempted so that instead of 3 days to end on Monday, it should end on Tuesday or Wednesday? That's what it means. Then consider whether that's what considering whether holidays are working days means. And then do you want to consider weekends? In fact, that's the one I just explained. Do you want to consider weekends as working days? If the answer is yes, then that means that when someone takes a leave that spans across weekend, that the weekend will be counted a as part of the days that was gone for the particular leave in question. Okay. So we're going to remove the ones that add holidays and weekend, and then we're going to save it. So if you take a sick leave, it will only count your working days. So I just added sick leave. You can add others. That's the second configuration that we would do. The next one is the work week. Work week is very important, and we usually will set it across different school types. So if you have secondary school, you have junior school, EYFS, you will have to select which of the school types you are interested in carrying out, that you are interested in setting up work week for. For instance, secondary school may run from Monday to Friday, but EYFS runs on maybe Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's your choice. So, and what the instance we're actually looking at in that context is, do you work full day from on Mondays or half day on Mondays? Do you work from home? Do you have days that you let staff work from home? Are there non-working days within the week? And so on and so forth. So this is where you do those setup. So basically every Monday to Wednesday, Fridays usually, Monday to Thursday is usually full day, but maybe Friday is half day. You select that, and then maybe Saturday and Sunday are non-working days. So those are the things that you set up, and you can do this across your different institutions. Like secondary school may be different from primary school and so on and so forth. So if you open up primary school, you do exactly the same thing. So you set all that according to your own schematics, and then you save that once again. Okay, so the system will take cognizance of that when issuing out leave. The next one is the holidays. Now, usually there are Easter holidays, Christmas holidays, and all kinds of holidays. So you want to create them. So let's say take Christmas as example. So Christmas is usually 25th December, right? And most of the time, your Christmas holidays may not start exactly on 25th December. It may start maybe on who knows. Okay, first of all, you set the 25th December as the beginning. Even you can decide that your Christmas holiday starts on 19th and then spans through Christmas. So it's your choice. So if you set it, you can decide how long it spans. So let's say it starts on Friday, December 19, 2025. That's your Christmas holiday starts on 19th. Then you decide that it spans how many days? Let's say 12 days, meaning it covers across 25 all the way to maybe New Year and all that. So this is where you set that. And then you decide if it is a full day, like is it all day long, the holidays. Then decide again whether this is repeated annually. If you say it's repeated annually, that means the system will create 19th December as holidays for you for as many times as your number of years come. For instance, you can see here, starting from okay, I think I set 18th instead of 19th. Maybe I must have scrolled back. So this one starts from 18th, and if you want, you can just open it, edit it, change the timing and all that, or even delete it entirely so it's not part of what you're doing. So 2025, as long as this year is concerned, 2025 19th all the way to 29th December are holidays for you. You can extend it, it's all left for you. So the system will create that for you. Again, if you have other holidays like Easter period and all that, you create that. August summer holidays and everything, you create that. And when you are done with the holidays, the next setup is just entitlement. So in terms of entitlement, you are looking at the pre-entitlement that you want to give to your employee. For instance, maybe you want to give ITA administrator, you want to make sure that he has access to leave, sick leave, for the period of January. That is for this 1 year period. You want to make sure that ITA has sick leave. So for you to do that, for you to assign ITA this sick leave, you click on the plus here and then select ITA as the employee, select the leave type, and then select the leave period and number of days entitled. So you are saying that within this 1 year, that ITA should have maximum of 12 days sick leave. That's all. And then you save that. You are saying that Saidu should have, that's another plus, anyways. You are saying that Saidu should have a compassionate leave of, I mean, within the same year of 7 days. And you save that. You are saying that Yusuf should have access to sick leave and maybe 25 days or 23 days, you save that. So this is how leave entitlement works. So when you give out leave entitlement, everybody that you give that leave entitlement will be able to request for it, as a matter of fact. So now, if you go to leave entitlement list right here. You select who you want to search for, and the system will give you the list of entitlement the person is entitled to. So even this ITA that is currently entitled to sick leave can be entitled at the same time to paternity leave of maybe 14 days, that's 12 days paternity leave. Sorry, I'll have to select the period here and then the days here, 14 days, that's 2 weeks. The same ETA can be given compassionate leave of 2 days or 3 days or 5 days, 6 days. So you see that such that when you search for ETA admin, you will see all the leave entitlements that he has for the period of January to February. Yeah. And you can see when the leaves were credited and when it is valid. So it's valid from January 2025 to January 2026. Okay. So that's the leave that this person can take. If we check for somebody else like Saidu, search, then you will see that Saidu has only compassionate leave, just compassionate leave of 7 days. All right. So having given every staff in your system their leave entitlement, as it were, the next question becomes who can apply? Anybody who has leave entitlement and has access to leave can apply for leave. But besides that, you can also assign leave directly to a staff. And usually that is based on the staff that has that entitlement. So as a super admin or as an admin with such right, if you select any of these men like Yakubu now and select a leave type like sick leave for this period and indicate that you want it to start from February 22nd to February 24th, and you put your comment for assigning that leave. If you click on assign, the system will tell you that you cannot apply for this leave without entitlement. That's because this Yakubu has not been given that assignment. But if I select maybe someone else, ETA admin, and click on this assign now, the system checks it and then you can see it's successful. Someone can also go directly and apply for leave on his own. And if you are applying for leave, for instance, right now, if I apply for maternity leave, the system will tell me, please note you are not entitled to this leave. This application may be rejected. But if I go for paternity leave, which I am entitled to, the system will allow me to request for it, choose the time I want it, 28, and the time I want it to end, maybe March, March, um, March 2nd. Okay. And then I put the comment that I want. If there is any document that needs to be submitted, this is where you key it in. For instance, where you have a subordinate or a peer that will be replacing you, that will be taking your place. This is where you upload any document that has been shared amongst you, and maybe any other proof of maybe paternity and other things. So this is where you upload that and then you click on apply. So when you apply, you can see so far one person, that is ETA admin, has a sick leave application that is currently scheduled and then a paternity leave that is pending approval. This one was scheduled directly, like outrightly, because first of all, it was applied, it was assigned by the super admin. So if a super admin is assigning you a leave that you are entitled to, it does not require approval schematics. It will just go in directly. Speaking of approval schematics, the system also has one more step of configuration that is also very, very important. And that configuration is the approval levels. So the leave approval levels allow you to set up an approval level like who by personnel should approve the first stage of your leave, the second, the third, and the fourth, and so on and so forth. You can set that up using the approval levels. So for any particular department, let's say the core department or secondary teaching or anybody, you can decide that their approval flow, you can decide to choose the grade level of interest. So you select the department, give it a title, select the grade level that this approval flow will apply to. First, do you want the approval to start with the line manager? If the answer is yes, that means the line manager will approve first before any other person will approve this leave for this personnel. That's the first part. But if you don't care whether the line manager approved or not, you can leave that open. You're just clicking on this to toggle it to no, and then you save that. So this is approval flow form. So for now, the line manager will approve first, and then you click on save. So when you do that, you have created a flow. Now the question becomes, what apart from the line manager, who else should approve this particular leave for this personnel? For any personnel who is in the Department of Secondary Teaching Level 1. Well, to add them, just click on the flow count here to show you this part, and then just click here to add the level name. For instance, you can say this can be first approval, and then you select who gives that first approval. Let's say the first person that gives that approval is Yakubu, or yeah, Yakubu Bwala. That's the person that gives that first approval. The next one, second approval. Let's say the second approval is usually given by a Wamade Bright. You select Bright and then save. So, and then the final approval, let's say it is usually done by ETA admin. So, final approval. So the final approval is given by ETA admin. Good. And then you save. So what you have done so far is that you have created approval level, 4 approval levels, as a matter of fact. First one being the line manager, next one being the first approval, second approval, and then the final approval. So if along this line any of these people fail to approve the personnel, number one, it cannot go further. Number two, that particular leave will be rejected. In fact, it's as simple as that. So we'll see how this works in a moment. So for this leave list, from this leave list where we have ETA requesting for paternity leave, even though he has 14 days entitlement, he requested for just 1 day, which is from 28th February to 2nd March. Now, there are 3 approval levels apart from line manager first. So if you look at it, the final approval is usually given um, by the administrator, right? But even as an administrator, and even when the leave in question is his own, he cannot go further with his approval until it has gone through the next approval level, which is the line manager. Now that begs the question, who is the line manager? Remember that every designation, that is every job title, there is a line manager as a result of the job title's supervisor role. And for certified professional, if we check the title certified professional, we'll see that the line manager or the supervisors are usually the HR, the human resource manager. And now here we have a human resource manager logged on, which is Abdullah Idris. So Idris is qualified as of this moment to be the first person to approve or reject this pro forma, this particular leave request. And so the same thing that I opened on the other part that showed only this next approval level line manager and nothing more. This is ITA administrator, and if I open it, this is all I see because this it has not gotten to his level for approval. So this is all he can see. But if I check the same page on Idris's platform, you will see that it has approval options. So at this point, Idris can approve, reject, or cancel this request. ITA is core department, even though he is certified professional, he's in core department. And leave our leave approval level covered for teaching department. So we might want to add another one for core department that has to do with maybe still level one, no problems. But first, line manager approval first, and then we choose just like this workflow. Yakubu Ewemade and then IT admin. Let's use exactly the same thing. So here, level name, level one, Yakubu Boala. Okay, final approval. ITA admin. Okay, so basically the same thing. I'm going to reject this so that we repeat because I want us to catch the process from line manager all the way to every other person that is meant to approve one after the other. I'll simply go to my leave and then cancel this. So you, the person who created, you can always cancel at any time before approval is given, right? So sick leave, taking sick leave for 24th through 27 and just a test, lab test per se. Yeah. So, so that amounted to 4 days. If we check pending on the interface of Mr. Idris, we will see certified professional ITA administrator waiting for approval. So if we give this approval now, if we give this approval now, of course, the system moves up to the next approval level, which is approval level one. Now, at this approval level one, the system will send out message to the personnel who is in charge of approval level one. Now, we're going to look at who is in charge of approval level one for the certified professionals, who is in charge of the approval level one. Check for core department. We'll see that the next person that is meant to approve is Yakubu Mercy Boala. So So if he opens this, that he or she opens this, you will see that she has access to approval options, which is currently approval level one. So if Mercy stops this approval by rejecting it at this point, everybody across the line will stop seeing this approval, will stop seeing this request. So, but we are going to approve it and again give out the remark approved so that it will move to the next level. Okay, so this person has given, so that means the next person that it's awaiting for is Ewemade Bright, right? So in fact, if we check the if we check ITA again on Mercy right now, we'll find it, we'll see it, but we will not be able to work on it anymore because he has already passed his own level. So it is now in level two, and this Mercy only handles approval level one. So it is now in approval level two. As such, Mercy will no longer be able to handle this particular one. The next person that is supposed to be on this place now is Iwamade. So this is Iwamade's profile. And if we refresh this page right now, we will see that there is an approval. There is a sick leave that is currently awaiting his consent. So again, just click on that and you see that he has access to approval options and so on and so forth. So we carry out this until he gets to final approval before the status will be changed to approved, right? So if you are looking at it from here now, data admin, you will see that though it shows up here, if you try clicking on it, you will see all the approvals that it has received. That is the approval log that it has received. But you will no longer be able to handle this because you have already submitted yours. That is for Bright, right? So if itadmin refreshes now, you see he has access to this now. It's his own, but he is the admin and he is the final approver. So now he has access to everybody and then approval options. So it's now a matter of click on approval, give a final approval, granted. Okay, that's final approval. And the moment he saves the final approval, watch it. The status of this will change to scheduled. So if you search for scheduled, you will see it has been moved to scheduled because it's now completely approved. You can see it. So there is no more approval required, right? So at this point, it's now a matter of who is meant to take that who is meant to take the leave, that is the IT administrator or ETA, whoever it is that is supposed to take the leave, can now take the leave because it's been scheduled. So on 24th to 27th, we will expect that this person will not be in school and everything has gone through the proper channel. Okay. So now the leave has been scheduled. So the system will definitely keep a count on this date. So it will definitely be marked as taken once this date elapses because it's been scheduled. In the meantime, as an admin, if you go to leave, you can pull the report by just clicking on the reports right here. So if you click on leave usage, you can pull the report per individual. So you can check IT admin and even drill down to a particular leave type to see their history of taking that particular leave. Or you can just leave them open and then the system will give you all the entitlements and their current constraint concerning this particular admin that you selected, this particular personnel that you selected. So you can see total entitlements and the scheduled one, that is the amount of those entitlements that he has made use of. And then you can see what is left and what has been expended. And again, if you decide not to select any particular individual, the system will not let you because you need to actually select an employee. But if you want to generate report for a particular leave type, which will now contain everybody that has that particular leave, then this is where to do it. Second tab, and then it will show you the list of everyone that currently have that entitlement and how much of it they have spent. So that's about that. Next, we will be taking care of is the disciplinary system. That is the disciplinary module. The disciplinary module is a simple but effective way of tracking incidents within the premises of your business. Incidents among staff, incident between staff and others, staff and supervisors, regulations and the institution and its rules, right? And people who are disobeying it or people who are faulting or defaulting in one way or another. So it's very simple. All you need to do is, if you have access to reporting a disciplinary case, you just click on new case from here, disciplinary cases, click on new case, then select the employee in question. So if you are reporting Saidu or you are reporting Yakubu, what is the problem? Came late. And what's description? Came late more than 5 times this month. And then if you have a spec file, so what do we call a spec file? A proof, evidence of this particular case, maybe a letter you have given in the past, all those things that come with complaining, right? You can attach it here and then click on add disciplinary case. So when you add a new disciplinary case, the admin, whoever is in charge of taking care of this, will see that disciplinary case and then take an action on it. Now, here, anybody, all the actions that have been taken can be seen here. But whoever is meant to take an action will first of all see this option and then select what action should be taken. Our system comes with a list of actions, things like giving a verbal warning, issuing a written query, deduction of salary, putting the person on probation, and so on and so forth. So let's say we want to give the person a written query. We'll simply select the action we want to give and then select when this action is meant to be taken and the due date for that action. Now, we attach a case owner to this particular case who is going to handle this case. We attach a case owner to it. And if there is a letter or content that you want to be part of it, you understand, this is where you key it in. So you can come to this place and then key in the, okay, so handle this case with a written query. That's it. And then if there is any action file, you can attach it here and then save the disciplinary action. Now, when you save something like this, the personnel who is meant to handle it will receive this and see that the action to be taken is to issue written query. So if he issues the written query in question, right? Once the action is taken, he will simply, the personnel who you attached, which is ITA admin, will have to now change the case status. Is it open or in progress or has it been closed? So while it is open, the personnel in question will be part of it. The whole, so remember that this is, like I said, simple but effective. Simple in the sense that all you do here is recording, right? But in the real sense, you are actually taking these actions, and then this particular employee, this action, this disciplinary case is recorded against his account or his profile. That's it. So you can create as many as the person is misbehaving, and maybe at some point you might just come in here, check the disciplinary case, and if the person has had one time too many count charges, you can expel the person or terminate the person's contract and all that. So this is the list where you find all that. Now, if the action is completed, you can simply, okay, while it's in progress, you can change it to in progress, and then the system will take cognizance of that. And when it is all done, you can mark it as closed. So when you close the action, there will be nothing else to be done about that particular case, right? So even if you open it, you will see that it is done. Now, the same thing is meant to be done about. So if you close it on your own end, it goes back to the admin who will now mark it as completed and the case is closed. So it's a very simple schematics. And if anybody gives you, if you have an action to take as a personnel, you will see it under my actions. So here you can um, approve, progress an action on a particular case that you have been assigned. Okay, so like I said, the disciplinary case is very simple. There is a plan to move some of the disciplinary case actions into effect. For instance, where it has to do with deduction of salary, and you indicate the amount that will be deducted. When a salary is raised, that amount that is deducted in the action that is in discipline will be effected directly on the payroll, that is the pay slip of the individual. Okay, the next is access control, and we'll deal with it in a moment. Access control simply talks about attendance, staff attendance, and the module is right here. So to set up the staff attendance, again, remember that there are already a part of this that we have already taken care of in terms of settings. But let's look at the general configuration that is required. First, you need to do your clocking setup. This is where you define all the clocking time for different subunits. So here you select a subunit and then change their time of resumption. For example, if I select teachers, for instance, I said that all teachers resume work at 7 a.m. every day. So I set this as their that time of resumption. Then I select maybe HR professionals and maybe set their own to be 8 a.m. and then select just like that, select everybody else, assessment officers, executive assistants, when are they meant to start work. So if I do all that, GC heads, the heads are 7 a.m., make it 8:30, and then update. So what that means is that while teachers are starting by 7 a.m., the heads are starting by 8:30, and HR professionals are starting by 8 o'clock, and so on and so forth. The idea is that based on this clocking, the system will know when to start marking someone as late and so on and so forth. So that's the only thing that is required for you to do in order to start the clocking. Now, for you to use a particular system as a clocking system, you need to activate the location as a clocking location. The idea is that as long as this system is concerned, this particular system is concerned, we should be able to clock in and clock out with it. You can set up a laptop at the reception, another one at the entrance gate and stuff like that, and then let people have different options of where they can clock in from, right? Especially if your number is much. However, the only way a particular system can be used as a clocking device is if the location is activated as a clocking location. And how do you do that? Right here, still under access control, clock in and clock out log. Just click on the inactive location and then the system will switch it to active location. At this point, if you open the clock in link right here, the system will allow you to do your clockings. So you can sign in and sign out from here now that it is active. Now, for you to be able to clock in and clock out, a few things are expected of you. One, you should have your access pin. Access pin for every personnel is found in their profile. So if you go to your profile as a personnel, you will see your access pin right here. For ITA admin, the access pin is 4001, and that is what I'm going to use to clock in now. So to clock in, all you need is your access pin, so 4001, and then click on next. If it's valid, the system will pop up a place where your passport data is captured, and whoever is in that space will simply click on this, and then it brings it up, and you simply make sure that your face is within the capture area like that. And that's it. So you take that capture and then confirm that capture, submit it, and you're done. So the system will process it and mark it as you having logged in, and then it will return to the login space. The same thing when it is time to sign out. Now, the data that has been taken so far for everybody that clocks in is usually recorded in the attendance view right here. So here you can actually select a job title in view, and then view their history directly. So you can actually sort by a particular job title and see the history of their attendance this month. For instance, certified professionals, and you can see ITA administrator who has been clocked in as 1 clock, but there has been 16 working days, but there has been only 1 clock in. And so, and that's it basically. So the system keeps tag of this. And if you are interested in seeing the person when he signs out, exactly the same thing. So if you are signing out, if you're clocking out, you do exactly the same thing. That start capture. That's it. As simple as that. And once you do that, confirm the capture, then you clock out. Chicken job done. So with this now, there has been clock in and clock out for one particular personnel. And if you come to this place and say you want to view history, you will see there has been total of 1 clock. So to wrap this up, let's look quickly at the reports that you can get from here. So let's look at the reports you can get from here. One of the reports is viewing your personal details from a history that has been collected. For instance, if you viewed from 14 December to 22nd, 14 February to 22nd February, the total work days found are 6, but there are only 1 day clocking. There is only 1 day clocking, and if you want to see the breakdown of that clocking, just click here and it will show you the days and the particular day of interest. So there were only 2 clocks on 21st of February, which is today, and the first clock in was 12:55 and the clock out was 13:36. It's present. Now, the time frame for being present or absent or being late is dependent on this configuration that we already ran here. So this configuration here, where we decided that a super admin time should start by 1 p.m., for instance, is the reason why 1 p.m. 12:55 is still early enough for the admin to clock in on a day. That's simple as that. So, but if it were maybe 10 o'clock, then this would have been marked as late. All right. Now, the picture you captured is also for biometric confirmation. It's not necessarily that we already know your face, but I mean, hey, these are your staff, right? So if you take a snapshot of your staff or somebody takes a snapshot of himself, you should be able to identify the person. So when you open this, you should see the person and the location where the person clocked in from, right? Okay, so that's about that. Then, as admin, you should be able to pull a master Excel sheet based on a filter. Just click on master Excel, get a copy, and then you can always download it. You can always, I mean, when you download it, you can always open it up and view the contents. Okay, so this is 2020, 25, 14, 15, 16, 20th, and 21st. So you should be able to get that master data. Okay, so and of course, always try to make sure that you selected the people of interest so that your master Excel should contain a valid data. Okay, so that's where you are. So just one person here that clocked in at 12:55 and clocked out at 1:36. Okay, so that's about that basically. And this wrap brings us to a wrap on everything that has to do with our, our finance HR module. And I thank you for being part of this journey so far. And like we already established, the system is on consistent development. So any place within this space that you feel like there is something that will make it more enticing, more user-friendly, more useful to your establishment, feel free to bring it forward and we'll see how to work with that. So thank you very much for being part of this journey and Enjoy the rest of the day.